Welcome to Thriving Thursday, part 3 in our series about the self-publishing world and what it's really all about. We're going to talk a little bit today about the role of the POD printer. So if you haven't been following along, we're really talking about what a money-sucking plot the self-publishing world has come to and how it really doesn't serve the author the way it should. We talked a little bit about the roadmap last time. It all starts with the self-publishing company. Today we're talking about the POD printer's role in it. And next week we'll be talking about the distributor, which in most cases is Amazon. The print-on-demand house, like I said, is the middleman. I talked about this last week. He's kind of the middleman. He's the one who ends up in the middle on the way into the process of having your book done, and he's also the middleman on the way out of your book being produced, because of the way that the self-publishing companies feed into the print-on-demand house that feeds into Amazon, and then Amazon feeds back into the print-on-demand house and then sends royalties back the other way. So as the middleman, the POD house is really the intermediary. They take the work that is put together by the self-publishing house, or if you're someone who's a do-it-yourselfer, you've given it to them yourself, and they pass it on to Amazon. Here's what they do. They create and print the books. They print the proofs, so you get a proof of your book before it actually goes over for approval to Amazon. And they send book listings to the distributors. So whether it's Barnes & Noble, whether it is Amazon, whoever that might be, they actually create the listings from the input that you give them. So the description of the book, the retail price of the book, the distributor fee, what the royalties look like, all of that, and what the actual book looks like as well. All of that's done by the POD printer. And they actually pay the royalties to the self-publishing houses. So if you've ever published on Amazon through a self-publishing company, the POD house is actually the one who pays the self-publisher, and then the self-publisher pays you. So on this roadmap, you can see that it's going both ways here. Self-publisher goes both ways. The POD printer goes both ways into the distributor. So kind of to recap what happened last week, the self-publisher submits the work to the POD printer. The POD printer prepares it to get it out to the distributor. The distributor lists it on their website. That's done through the POD printer as well. The distributor sells the book, and then when the book order is put in on something like Amazon, the order goes back through the POD printer, and then the POD printer ships it out to the consumer in the proper packaging. The POD printer also, at that time, sends the royalty amount out to the publishing company, and that is the retail amount minus what it costs to print the book, minus the distributor's fees. So that goes back to the self-publishing company, and as we spoke about last week, that self-publishing company usually takes a cut of that as well. So as you can see in this process, everybody's taken a cut of your work. And that really doesn't serve you as an author. So let's understand your royalties a little bit more here to understand how that piece of the pie is taken, how you get that little slice right there that is missing. So your royalties are calculated on the retail price of the book, less the distribution fees, less the cost of the book, and that's actually the cost to print the book. So what that looks like in the scammy world of the publishing house is the publishing house creates and prints the book. The publishing house marks that up. So both of them just took a piece of your pie. So in the case of the POD printer, I have to give them a little bit of a break because they, of course, their product is that printed book, so they would mark it up. But let's say that the POD print price that they charge the publishing house is $3.13. Most houses mark that up 100%. Now think about that for a minute. 100%. So you paid this self-publishing house to create or format your book, your cover, to do all that work. Then they sent it off to the POD house, and then they take a cut of your back-end royalties. So to me, That is as senseless as if I went and asked Kinko's to create a business card for me. They did the artwork, they printed it, and then they gave it to me and said, hey, by the way, we get $2.50 of every single client you sell with one of those cards. You would absolutely say, no, go pound sand. But most people don't understand the contract that they're signing with the self-publishing company, and they don't ask the question about how much do you mark up the book. So that's where your pieces of your pie start disappearing. So let's just take an example here. Let's say that your cost of your book at the POD printer is $3.13, and your self-publisher has just marked it up to $6.26. The retail price is $14.99, and the distribution fees are 54% of retail. You've just taken a book that legitimately probably isn't a $14.99 value. You've taken that minus the $6.26 minus the $8.09, and you end up with 64 cents a book. That's crazy, because books are just like houses. If you list a house for too much, it doesn't sell. If you list a book for too much, it doesn't sell. But what a lot of self-publishing companies do is they say, oh, you're just like author X. Well, author X is a well-known author, an author with a big crowd. So for you as an unknown to offer your book for the same amount of money, chances are they'll choose the well-known authors instead. So that's just resulted in a whole bunch of non-sold books. So next week, we're going to talk about the distributor and the monopoly that Amazon has created in the marketplace that doesn't serve you at all if you're going through CreateSpace. So as usual, this is why the market system is failing for authors. There is greed at literally every corner of the marketplace. And if you don't have your funny funnel fully built out, chances are you're leaking clients and revenue. So it's very important to get this right while you're in the book world. Talk to you next week.